Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am back with another training session. Um, this day, it's actually yesterday when I'm recording my voiceover here. Yesterday was day number 20 of the bulk. No, you haven't missed anything. If you're looking at my videos and you're like, what the fuck, did I skip days? I've just been misnumbering my days and I just corrected it today. So it is day 20 of the bulk. This is my third week of um, the off season, the growth phase. And this session was an hour and 18 minutes long. So this is probably my longest session or one of my two longest sessions for the week. But this felt really fucking good today. Really solid leg session. Honestly, just had my check-in today, like this morning, the day after this video as well. And holy shit, my progress has just been awesome. Everything is just going great. No changes to the plan this week in any way. I'm adding in ashwagandha just as a sleep aid because this past week, I don't really know why my sleep has just been dog shit. That really affected me on my Monday mixed leg day earlier in the week. Every other day, it hasn't been that big of a deal. That Monday was or Sunday night into Monday was my worst night of sleep, but it hasn't really improved over the week. So we're going to add in just ashwagandha as a little bit of a sleep aid to see how that helps, and if it helps at all. If not, we'll probably add some other things in or try something else to address that. But nothing that really is correlating with that. Maybe just a little bit of more stress from work-related stress in my life, but that's really it, if anything. And again, my sleep isn't terrible. You know, Sunday into Monday it was, but it hasn't been complete dog shit the rest of the week. So just little things we can improve. Next week, there will probably be another bump in PEDs. Food has not moved this week. We didn't change any ancillary compounds other than adding the ashwagandha in. Food hasn't moved up. PEDs didn't move up. Training hasn't changed. So it's just another week of doing the same shit and getting better every day. And that is the goal. So here on the first movement for this day, 8 to 12 reps is the goal for every set here. And I structured this a little differently this week just to make the weight feel a little bit better. Took a 5-pound progression on the first set and did 135 for 12. So that will move up next week. We'll end up going up to 140. For the remaining 3 sets, I backed down to 110 for all 3 sets and hit 12, 10, and 9. So that was perfect. I think what I'm going to start doing is progressing the weight when I hit the rep goal per set. So next week, that second set will go from 110 to 115. Third set and the fourth set will both stay the same at 110. So next week, I'll take a 5-pound progression on my first 2 sets here, and then I will take rep progressions, hopefully on the third and fourth set. But yeah, this felt good. Good start to the day. This is always one of those movements which is a little weird to me. You know, when I'm in the moment doing the movement, I'm like, man, it doesn't feel like I'm doing it well. It feels like I need to improve this and that. And then watching it back, I'm like, this is fucking perfect. Like, there's no issues here. What was I thinking? So I need to just get through that in my head, that little bit of a mental blocker. But overall, movement felt really good. And like I said, solid start to the day. Next week, with the PED increase, I might see how I feel about taking some larger load increases rather than just doing 5 pounds here and there, doing 10s. Kind of depends on how I feel getting into that point or getting into under that weight in certain movements. As we move into my barbell Romanian deadlifts here next, after this movement, I took a pretty significant weight increase here this week. I think last week I did 275 or 285 maybe on this. 285 last week. This week I jumped up to 315. So what is that? 10, 20, 30-pound increase. And this felt fucking great. I mean, this 315 just moved easy peasy. No problem at all. I didn't do 2 straight sets with the same weight, though. I ended up backing off of this and doing 285 on the second set. Also on this first set, whereas last week I hit 285 for 12, I hit 315 for 10 here. So next week, the weight will not move up here, but I'm really happy I took the big jump this week because I just felt like the limiting factor here in my previous weeks was just my cardiovascular capability on this top set anyway. And hitting that 12 reps was the harder portion of the movement for me, not moving the weight. But I wanted to work this a little more heavily. So getting that top set, 315 for 10, that felt fucking awesome. Back off set here, 285, also hit 10 reps, which is a rep match on the back off set from last week. But yeah, I don't think I progressed the weight either, right? Yeah, this was 285 last week as well, I believe. So this was a match on the second set, and then again the top set I took a 30-pound weight jump and only lost 2 reps, so super happy with that. Movement just feels really good. Hamstring training is really clicking well for me. My hamstrings are just wildly improving. Looking at my check-in shots week over week, my side profile for my legs is just vastly improved, so that is good to see. We are going to move into my single leg press now. I continue to change my foot positioning on this. You can see I'm now no longer setting up with my leg outside of the machine. It's kind of weird for me. I need to set up with my leg outside the machine because if you notice, it comes down, the sled is like basically touching my knee on the bottom. I could get more depth in the movement if my left knee here wasn't in the way. But when I sling my leg over the side, it ruins my leverage that I have with my hip to be able to press as well. So it's just kind of fucky with how I have to try and set this up. And so what I did this week, you can see my back. I'm not sitting up as far as I usually do. I really leaned back and made sure to consciously think about keeping my back against the back pad on the machine here. And what that allowed me to do is kind of scoot my foot a little bit further from the midline on the plate and let my leg come back more to the side of my chest. Since my body, my torso was back further, my leg has a little bit more of a range of motion to come down. So even though my knee is kind of limiting me, blocking how far, my non-dominant, like the knee that I'm not pressing with, right? That's kind of blocking me from having that full stretch at the bottom. It's not as drastic as when my torso is blocking me. So I'm able to get a pretty damn good stretch here. The weight felt really easy this week. This was a huge improvement here. Same weight as last week, did 150, but took a 2-rep progression on the top set and a 1-rep progression on the second set. Both 150 for both, hit 16 and then 13. The rep goal is 12 to 15, so probably going to take a 5-pound increase here next week, at the very least on that top set, just because it felt really good. The weight, again, felt very easy, and I felt like my depth was really good this week. So I was really happy with this. Had a little bit of knee pain in my left knee here. That's usually not the one that bothers me. It's usually my right leg that bothers me, but had a little bit of weirdness with my left knee. My knees are just kind of, I don't want to say fragile, but I have very hypermobile knees. So maybe that does lend itself more towards fragility, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. So I just have to kind of be careful on how I'm straining them in some movements. Could probably slow this movement down a little bit, but honestly, the pace felt good. The connection felt good. The pump felt good. Everything here just felt good. So I'm not too concerned about changing things. One thing you'll notice I did on the second set that I didn't do on the first set, and I will do next week, is starting with the left leg, just because that left leg doesn't feel as strong in this movement. I've said it before. My left quad is a little weaker than my right quad. It visually reflects as well on my physique. So going to start leading with that left rather than the right. I just started here with the right today on that first set just because I had tried a new foot positioning, and when I try new placements or new alterations to movements, I like to start with the dominant side just so that I kind of have a better feel for it, and it kind of makes me feel more locked in, I guess. But yeah, these felt really good overall. The foot positioning is now, I say this every week, I think, but I think it's now finally locked into a point where I really like it. The weight moved really fucking easily. Yeah, weight progression next week, took a rep progression this week, felt really good. All right, and moving into my adductor work for the day. I think I took a weight progression here. Actually, no, I did not. I'm sorry. I kept the weight the same on this top set, but beat my reps. I got 170 for 15. The rep goal here is 10 to 15. I hit 170 for 15 on the top set this week. Weight will probably stay the same next week. I'd like to get to 16 or 17 before increasing, I think. But then on my back off sets, I dropped down to 130 for my remaining two sets, and then I hit 130 for 14 and 130 for 11. So weight is probably going to stay the same here all across the board next week. Just because, again, I'd like to be 2 reps above that 15 range to increase the weight here. I have a habit on my adductors of really kind of creeping the weight up and then not taking as much of a pause as I should, or just kind of really not emphasizing the stretch on this movement as much. You know, you can really shorten the range of motion here to move a lot more weight, and I have a bad habit of doing that when I move the weight up. So focusing on increasing the reps. But yeah, something else, you know, obviously you guys don't see it in the video because I cut my rest periods out. I'm trying to slow my pace down a little bit. I also am a person who, like, you know, I just feel the slightest bit recovered and I'm like, okay, time to go again. Just time to go again. Like, I just want to get into my work because I like doing the work, right? But I'm trying to actively think about it and be like, okay, catch your breath, let your heart rate recover a little bit, slow yourself down. You know, I'm not timing my rest periods. I don't do that, but I'm trying to slow my pace a little bit so that by the time I go into that next, you know, 1, 2, 3 sets after the first set, I am more recovered. I'm ready to really go all out to failure in these movements and push myself a lot harder because I am more recovered, you know? There's no harm to longer rest periods within reason, right? You know, you don't need a 10-minute rest. You don't need to go walk around and talk to everybody in the gym in between every set, right? But take your time, slow things down, recover fully, catch your breath, let your heart rate drop a little bit, let that muscle kind of recover a tiny little bit more, and then really hit that next set. Because if you're going to failure on your sets, it's going to fucking exhaust you. You're going to need a minute to recover, right? That goes for pretty much every movement. So, last movement for the day, that is going to be my toe press calf raise. Took I think a 10-pound increase here this week. Went up from 400 to 410. Hit 22 on this top set, and then 14 on the second set. It was 410 on both sets. Goal is 12 to 20, so this will go up next week. Something I might start doing here is only increasing the top set. Obviously, you know, the goal is 12 to 20 in that back off. I hit 14, so it's acceptable. It's in that range, but I probably don't need to be pushing the weight up on it yet. So next week, I think I might take a bigger jump because this just felt really good. I might go from 410 to 430 on the first set, and then on the second set, just keep it at 410 and see if we can, you know, crank out some extra reps there. But yeah, not a whole lot more to say about these movements for the rest of the day, or these sets rather. This is the last movement. It felt awesome today. Everything is just clicking. You know, I am gaining at a rate of about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds per week right now. Right on target for where I need to be. Hamstrings and back are coming up. We might make some changes to back training to address kind of my mid back, which really needs to come up a lot. Maybe put in like a chest supported row, like a chest braced row where I have a little bit more of an ability to just kind of lock myself in without using momentum. Because that is a bad habit of mine on a lot of my back movements, and that's kind of where the T-bar fails me. But yeah, other than that, you know, no super big issues on the radar. Just going to fix my sleep, keep addressing the back, keep grinding away and keep posting my training sessions, guys. But that is it for today. If you like the content, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, all that stuff. And until next time, guys, take it easy.